Well, I want to thank everyone for being here, and really want to thank the media for showing up and covering this very important issue. This is something that really is so important to all of us. We all either have family or friends that are educators. All of us, of course, education is so important to our life. My sister is a retired school teacher, so we understand the importance of this. And we just, after 779 didn't pass, I think that's a message to show that our citizens are really looking for a permanent solution to education. We're not looking for a Band-Aid fix. And that's one thing that we wanted to say today in this meeting. Something that we've learned very well in Broken Arrow is that chambers and schools and cities working together can accomplish a lot. And that's why we're all here today, is we want a unified voice to let you know, let legislators know that this is so important to us. We had a recent meeting in New York City with site selectors and the governor to talk about bringing more businesses to the state of Oklahoma. And one of the issues that was brought up at that meeting was the fact that where we're ranked nationally in education, that was a concern to site selectors that have never even been to Oklahoma. And so that's what they know. And so we don't want to be, we're not trying to strive to be 40th in the country. We want to be first in the country. We want to move up. And as businesses look at our state, they do not look at schools like Broken Arrow and Union and Jinx and Owasso, and they're looking at the national ranking and the weakest link. And so we need to bring all education up, and that's what we're urging today. I wanted to thank everyone for showing up today. It really is a great show of support, and it shows that all the communities in northeastern Oklahoma, this is a very important issue. We have the cities of Bixby, Glenpool, Sapulpa. We have chambers, Jinx, Owasso, Bixby, Glenpool, Sapulpa, Sand Springs, and Tulsa here. And we have school districts. We have Bixby, Sand Springs, Union, and Owasso. So we really want to thank everyone for being here, and we just want to get the message to the Capitol that this is a very important and should be one of the top issues going into this next session. I want to introduce City Manager for Broken Arrow, Michael Spurgeon.
Thank you, Mayor Thurmond. Good morning, everyone. Man, it is wonderful to see everybody here, and just let me echo Mayor Thurmond's comments, and on behalf of the Broken Arrow City Council, thank you for coming. It is great to see everyone today, and we're so happy that you're here to help us make sure the message gets out about the importance of the need for teacher pay raises. This is such an important issue that we felt like that we needed to expand this press conference beyond just having a press conference with the city of Broken Arrow officials from the city and from our school district. It's so important that we invited all of the individuals that are here today, and what we wanted to make sure we included was the cities and the chambers of commerce. And we did that is because we feel like it's important as cities and as chambers that we take the lead in helping move this matter forward. In attendance today, as the mayor mentioned, we have officials from several cities and school districts. We also have a couple of our legislators that are here from the state, and Representative Rogers is going to introduce them a little bit later on. And once again, we have folks from our chamber. Let me start by extending my gratitude to the communication directors for the city of Broken Arrow, the Broken Arrow Public Schools, and our lobbyists, the lobbyists for the chamber and the city, Lisa Smalago, for coordinating the logistics necessary to make today's press conference happen. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all that you've done. I believe today's press conference is important to let our school districts know, especially our teachers, that we support you, and to let the public know where we stand as it relates to teacher pay raises. I have several points I'd like to make as a part of my comments. However, before I get there, I'd like to share a personal perspective on how important this issue is to me. I am positive the issue of coming up with a plan to adequately compensate our teachers is a topic we can all agree on, and an important one for our respective communities. Furthermore, I'm sure, and you're going to hear this throughout all of the folks that are speaking today, that we all have family, friends, or we know someone that's in education. I'm resolved to say that whether it's in Broken Arrow, Bixby, Glenpool, or any of the other school districts in our state, regardless of where you go, you will find teachers committed to ensuring that our children receive the best quality education. These individuals put in countless hours daily and are unquestionably the backbone of our educational system. In many cases, our teachers take money out of their own pockets to help with their classroom expenses. Our teachers play an important role in the daily lives of our children. For example, we entrust them to help fulfill students' individual potential. They help many prepare for the next level of their educational journey. Likewise, they help our children learn the importance of civic responsibility. I know this firsthand because both of my children are public school teachers. Both graduated from universities in Oklahoma, the University of Central Oklahoma and the University of Oklahoma, respectively. My son currently teaches in Norman Public Schools in the 8th grade science. Additionally, my brother is a superintendent of public schools and actually worked in 3 different Oklahoma school districts early in his career. It is evident how much each of my family members love what they do, and I'm sure that same love and devotion extends to all those in the profession. Conversely, I've seen both of my children struggle at times financially, and that's hard to see as a parent. When State Question 779 failed on November 8th, I honestly had mixed emotions. As Broken Arrow City Manager, knowing sales tax revenue is the lifeblood of every municipality in the state and is desperately needed for services, I was relieved the measure failed. Having a sales tax rate of close to 10% and unfair competition with internet sales could have led to distressing results for all Oklahoma cities. Equally, and from a municipal perspective, it was abundantly clear that there were many unintended consequences associated with having this measure pass. Now, my relief quickly changed to sadness because I know our teachers need a pay raise. The measure failing left many administrators and teachers devastated, heartbroken, and asking what happened. Most importantly, each one was asking the question, what's next? Many of us have asked the same question, and those that are here today, I believe, are asking that question. I believe our state, we need a more competitive compensation structure for our teachers. We need to raise teacher salaries so excellent teachers can afford to stay in the classroom and talented graduates will choose to join one of the most important professions there is and do it in one of the school districts in this great state. So here are the points I'd like to make before I close. First, and from my perspective, the failure of State Question 779 indicated the people of Oklahoma stood against a sales tax proposition that would have made our sales tax one of the highest in the country. I do not believe Oklahomans are against our teachers. They want us just to resolve this another way. Secondly, it was a state question that unfortunately pitted the cities in northeast Oklahoma and across the state against our school districts. We want to put any concerns that the public may have aside by standing side to side with our friends and our supporters in the school district today. Third, with the failure of this state question, I believe we now have an incredible opportunity for cities and school districts to come together and encourage the governor and Oklahoma State Legislature to develop options long-term for teacher pay raises. Fourth, while many ideas are being discussed, we want the public to know that the cities and school districts of northeast Oklahoma desire to be a part of the solution, working together in unison to address much-needed pay raises for our teachers. And finally, on behalf of Mayor Thurmond and the Broken Arrow City Council and the city's leadership team, we offer our support, our ideas, and our counsel to help address this important matter for the betterment of all of us in the state of Oklahoma. Again, thank you for coming, and at this time I'd like to introduce my friend and the Superintendent of Broken Arrow Public Schools, Dr. Jarod Mendenhall. Thank you.
Well, first let me say welcome to Oak Crest Elementary. Those of you that have not been here in a while have seen that we've remodeled and done some great things. We have approximately 500 students here in this building, and we're doing education here every day. And, you know, I think the thing that I want to start off by saying is that I was totally overwhelmed when the city and the chamber reached out to me to say, we want to do this. We want to stand beside you and wrap our arms around you, your staff, and tell them that we care about them. So, you know, I'm just so humbled and almost overwhelmed that they would be willing to do that. Before I get started on my comments, there are a lot of people, a lot of my colleagues that are here today that I would like to introduce and actually recognize for being here. We have Dr. Kyle Wood from Bixby. He's the superintendent at Bixby. If you just raise your hand. Okay, thank you for being here. Sherry Durkee, which is the Sand Springs superintendent, if you'd raise your hand. Great. Clark Ogilvie, Dr. Clark Ogilvie from Owasso is here. And Dr. Kurt Hartzler from Union Public Schools is here as well. Really, really appreciate them coming out and being a part of what we're doing today. The success of our community and our state depend on the quality of education Oklahoma children receive. A quality education is dependent. The quality of teachers in schools are even more important. Teachers are professionals who have earned at the minimum a college degree, obtained certification, and are required to complete numerous hours of continuing education each year. But we pay them less than many of our other occupations requiring minimum qualifications. We entrust them to our most precious commodity, yet the pay they receive sends the message that they have very little value. They work tirelessly so that the children in their classrooms can have the American dream, yet we deprive our teachers of the ability to make ends meet. In a time when our state leaders are so focused on accountability in our public schools, ensuring a quality teacher in every single classroom has never been more important to us. Yet year after year, lawmakers have failed to do the very thing that we attract for great teachers, and that is pay them adequately. I'm sure you've heard the statistics that our state ranks at the very bottom in teacher pay, and that teachers have not had a raise in over a decade. Teachers are leaving our state and the profession in droves to find better opportunities and to earn enough so that they don't have to work multiple jobs just to make ends meet. Ask anyone in education, and they will tell you stories about their friends, their family members who had to make difficult choices whether to become a teacher. These are talented, passionate people that we need to ensure that our children graduate and become productive citizens, and they are at the forefront of making that happen. We need them now more than ever, and we need to show them that we value our teachers. Each year, it becomes more and more difficult to find qualified teachers here in Broken Arrow. I know my colleagues have had the same issues. If you apply simple economics, when there is a short supply and a high demand, you must pay more for the services you are seeking. We cannot wait any longer. This is a real crisis, folks. The consequences to our children, if we do not pay our teachers, is going to be great. I urge lawmakers to act swiftly as they enter the next legislative session before more teachers make a difficult decision to leave the education profession. Give teachers the pay they deserve so that we can ensure that we have a quality teacher in every single classroom. It's my honor and privilege at this point to introduce our president of the Board of Education in Broken Arrow, Ms. Cheryl Kelley.
Good morning. I want to thank each of you for being here today, and more importantly, I want to thank all those responsible for putting this press conference together. On behalf of my board colleagues, I want to extend our appreciation to the teachers in Broken Arrow who devote their lives to giving our children the tools to succeed and inspire them to do it. It is our teachers who listen to our children, who challenge them, who encourage them to stand up for their values, and who significantly impact our community. In Broken Arrow, we are fortunate to have community leaders who recognize that recruiting and retaining a talented teacher workforce is critical to economic development. Our teachers are essential, and they must know that investing in them is essential to placing value on their contributions. The board is honored to stand with our community leaders to say we support our teachers, and we are committed to working with our state legislature to address a plan for funding to increase teacher pay. At this time, I would like to introduce one of our many fantastic teachers in the school district, Amanda Bowser. She is a math interventionist, and I'd like to introduce her right now at this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and welcome to my school. I am a teacher here at Oakcrest, and I am proud to be a teacher. I am honored and I consider it a privilege that I have the opportunity to represent my fellow teachers all across our district, but also all across the state. What an honor that is. And I remain proud to be a teacher because the condition of our educational system doesn't define my personal belief in the value of educating kids. And I'm grateful to be a teacher here in Broken Arrow because I can say with certainty that teachers in Broken Arrow are valued and held in high esteem. Dr. Mendenhall and the leaders of Broken Arrow Public Schools make it clear that teachers are admired and given the utmost support because they know what our community, what our state needs most is children who are given the opportunity for the best education possible. And their actions make it clearly known that a child's best education is made possible because of our teachers. Today, that same message resonates louder as our city leaders, local businesses, and school boards stand in unity in support of our teachers. Thank you very much. We know that education is essential for our community and state, not only to survive, but to thrive. An educated population is a powerful population. Our state depends on educated people to grow and build a better economy, a better workforce, a better life. That educated population begins in the classroom of our schools all around our great state. It is no secret the work of a teacher is like no other. I'm sure you've heard about the long hours, daily challenges, assortment of expectations from a variety of individuals, all with an interest in achieving the best possible outcome for our children. But perhaps the real reason our work is like no other is the fact that the number one most influential factor of student success in the classroom is the teacher. That means as teachers, what we do each day, the choices we make or don't make, the interactions we purposefully plan or decide to change at the last minute, everything we do has the most direct impact on whether or not the children of our state will receive the best education possible. That is a heavy responsibility. So while the teacher plays the most vital role in student success, there is another position in which every decision has statewide consequences on the teacher. This is the role of our legislators. Like teachers, legislators most certainly feel the weight of the responsibility. It sounds like teachers and legislators have a lot in common. Both have important jobs that profoundly affect the prosperity of our state, jobs where lots of other people are depending on them to make the wisest of decisions each day, jobs that require them to invest into the future of our state. For teachers, that investment is in the lives of their students. And for legislators, that investment is in our teachers. Increasing teacher pay is an investment not only in our teachers, but also in our state. Increasing teacher pay allows Oklahoma to be more regionally competitive. It aids in teacher retention and supports teacher recruitment. While it is encouraging to know that some legislators are exploring ways to increase teacher pay, it's important that all legislators work toward consensus to support this cause. Along with our school districts, I urge parents to align, communities to partner, and local businesses to join in. In my own classroom, I often use the saying, 2 brains are better than 1, and the students would say, 3 brains are better than 2. My students understand the value of working together to come up with a more viable solution. Perhaps the words of Henry Ford capture this message best. Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. So legislators, as you earnestly search out solutions to strengthen our state's educational system by alleviating insufficient teacher pay, there are 3 things I urge you to consider. First, it is not a luxury to enact a solution for increased teacher pay. It is a necessity that must be given thorough consideration and research. Second, the solution must be clear, concise, and transparent. Now is the time to build trust across our state by avoiding loopholes and ambiguities. Third, the solution must duly consider educator input, not as a means to appease teachers, but in order to truly display its value for the system of education in our state. If we truly want to get the best return on our investment, it is time and most prudent for decisions to be made that invest in teachers. Thank you.
Okay, we have 2 more speakers that we want to present to you. First is the head of our Chamber of Commerce, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank Wes for sending out a notice, because I see a lot of our chamber members on the board are just members from Broken Arrow, and I'd just like to thank all of them personally for coming out. So at this time, Wes Smithwick.
Thank you, Michael. I'd also like to, Chamber presidents and colleagues, raise your hand here. We have, I think, 9 different communities represented, and that alone speaks volumes to the importance of the topic today. I, too, am the son of a retired public educator, and I actually served on the Broken Arrow Board of Education about 10 years ago. So I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of the importance of the issue at hand. Today, my role is that of chamber president, and one of my primary responsibilities is that of being an economic developer. My team works daily to grow jobs and our city's economic base. We cannot do that without an adequately funded public school system. Today, we are joined by chamber, city, and school leaders from a number of other communities in the region. We all consider our great public schools to be an asset, and in most cases list our public education institutions as one of the reasons our communities continue to grow and prosper. In every one of these cities, we do our part to fund education in the area that is our local responsibility. In Broken Arrow alone, in the past 6 years, our community has supported nearly $700 million in bond projects for our schools. It is a similar story in every single school district in the room today. Unfortunately, word of our statewide Common Ed funding challenges has spread far beyond our borders. In the past 30 days alone, I have been asked about it from business executives in New York City and in Europe. They know about it because they hear about it from site selectors and their locations here. They must recruit talent and convince other people to move to Oklahoma to staff our jobs and our advanced manufacturing jobs. The recruitment and attraction of a skilled workforce is one of our state's primary and foremost objectives. Without it, industry goes elsewhere. When new potential employers are raising concerns about our commitment to public education and using it as a reason for not accepting positions here, our local businesses and industries suffer greatly. We all know that perception is reality. Even though that we know we have wonderful school districts with great teachers serving our students every single day, the negative publicity we are receiving now beyond Oklahoma does not help us. It makes the problem even worse. We must find a way to shore up funding and right the ship. If we fail to do so, it will only be harder to attract a talented workforce and continue to grow our job base. So today, we must have a call to action, a call that addresses how we stand relative to other states, a call that understands if we do not address this and our neighboring states continue to pull ahead of us, and a call that recognizes the difficulty we will face when trying to attract industry with high-paying jobs to expand our local economy. Our community welcomes the conversation with our legislators and other policymakers to study what has worked in other areas of the country and find a solution. It is time for collaboration to solve this problem. Thank you very much.
And our final speaker, I'm so happy that Representative Michael Rogers is here today. For those of you that know Michael, I mean, he's an outstanding individual. He's a great athlete, and most importantly, he's someone that truly cares about this state, and he cares very deeply about education. So this time, help me welcome Representative Michael Rogers.
Thank you, Michael. That was definitely way beyond what needed to be done. First, I wanted to represent one of my colleagues, Representative Katie Hinkey. She's been a champion on all the things we do for education. Katie, we appreciate you for being here. It's days like today that I think Oklahoma is going to need to see more of, when business and school districts and legislators can come together, find a common ground, and try to move things forward. That's when we'll see real change in this state. No longer as a state can we afford to have just decisiveness. It's important for us, if we really our goal is to see things move forward, is to come together and make this thing happen. As Ms. Bowser said earlier, there's so many things that we could do better. I'll be the first one to admit, as a legislator, my job is to go up there and to do the best job I can. I will never back away from that. I feel like it is important for us to make sure that we are funding things properly. It's not an easy job. The state of Oklahoma has a lot of needs, but I do think it is something that realistically we can do. For me and my legislative colleagues, Representative Hinkie will tell you the same thing. There's nothing more important to us than a quality teacher in the classroom. Every study you look at, every outcome you want to look at, no matter how you look at it, it all starts with that quality teacher in the classroom. And for us, we've got to make that a priority. And how do we get a quality teacher in a classroom? You've got to pay them a quality wage. No longer can we look at them. No longer can we say, can we afford it? We have to start with the teachers first. We've got to make sure that that's our priority. Our number one priority going to the session will be addressing the teacher pay. You'll hear a lot of plans coming out in the next few months, many of them without solutions. But I will tell you, our job as a legislature is to go in there and to fix this and to make it right, to make sure that we go back to our communities, go back to our friends, go back to our spouses and say, you are valued. What you do matters. What you do will change the direction of the state. So you will see us make a concerted effort to make sure that happens this year. You will also see us to try to really address that thing early. We don't want to get to where we get down to the final few days of the session when money becomes tight and fighting becomes more evident. We want to make sure that we come out early and we address that. We want to make sure the teachers in not only my district, Representative Hinkie's district, and other legislators' district know that we do value, we do support you, and we do want to make sure that we show you the respect that you need, and it starts with the salary. The other thing you'll notice this year is kind of our motto in the legislature is going to be teachers first. There's so many things we do in the legislature. There's so many things we do in funding for education, but it starts there. We've got to make that the priority. We've got to start with the teacher. We've got to work our way down the priority list from there. We're excited about this session. We'll have plenty of challenges. We've got a lot of things to address, but we know that we can do it. We know that there's new leadership ready to take on this task. I look forward to being part of that process and just glad to be part of a community who's willing to come together to make this thing happen. Now I'll bring up City Manager Michael Spurgeon to close us out.
That doesn't conclude the press conference. Everyone that spoke this morning will stick around for a little while and be glad to answer any questions from the press, as I'm sure the leaders from the other school district chambers and cities will as well. Once again, on behalf of Mayor Thurmond, the Broken Arrow City Council, Superintendent Mendenhall, and the Broken Arrow Board of Education, we'd like to thank everybody for coming, and everyone have a great rest of their Monday.